Did you know that you can study at a global university in Sri Lanka? Curtin University is ranked in the top 1% of universities in the world and offers engineering and computing degrees right here in Colombo at SLIIT. Enrol now for July 2021 intake. Call 076 555 8989.
Curtin's credentials speak for themselves. Placed in the top 1% of world universities and second in the world for mineral and mining engineering. As one of Western Australia's largest employers, Curtin directly contributes close to $2 billion to the state's economy. And as a thought leader, it is helping to transform the state at the highest levels. Internationally, our reputation has developed thanks to our physical presence with campuses around the world, students from more than 130 countries, and more than 90 industry, research and community partnerships in Australia and overseas. We share our expertise with the world, extend our influence through internationally significant collaborative research projects, and provide a world-class learning experience for our diverse student body, supporting them to take the leap into a wider world to pursue Curtin's trademark passion for innovation, experimentation, and entrepreneurship, building skilled and creative workforces to make tomorrow better all around the world.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I warmly welcome you all for the Curtin University Open Day for July 2021 intake of students at SLIIT. I'm Chatri Vijayanayaka from the SLIIT International Office, and I will be your host for the session today. The session will begin with the presentations from our guest speakers, followed by a question and answer session. Please be kind enough to keep your microphones muted during the presentations. Do you enjoy solving problems and making a real difference in the world? Curtin University degree programs can prepare you for a successful and rewarding career in science and engineering, not only in Sri Lanka, but all around the world. SLIIT has a 20-year-long partnership with Curtin University, and we offer Curtin University full degree programs in computing and engineering. I warmly invite Mr. Nigel De Silva, Director, Transnational Education and Partnerships of Curtin University, to speak more about our partnership and the Curtin University degree programs offered in Sri Lanka. Good morning, Nigel. Over to you.
Good morning, and thank you, Chatri. It's a pleasure to be with you all here today, and thank you very much for giving up your time to attend today's webinar. As just mentioned, Curtin has had a long and successful partnership with SLIIT in Sri Lanka, which is now hitting the 20-year mark this year. So we're very proud of the partnership we have, and we're very proud of the large number of Curtin SLIIT alumni come out of our programs. And one of the main reasons we're so proud is that the students have gone on to have very successful careers, and that gives us a lot of confidence in our partnership, is that the students are achieving the outcome that they look for when they are coming to do a Curtin degree. One of the things which would have come through very clearly in that video about Curtin is just how international our outlook is. And we really take pride, and it's a very important part of our university to be global. Have 4 campuses around the world, apart from the one in Perth. And we also have our School of Mines located in regional Western Australia in Kalgoorlie, which is really one of our flagship schools. We're ranked second in the world in mining. So that's really one of the big feathers in our cap. But other than that, we have our campuses in Singapore, Malaysia, Dubai, Mauritius, and of course, the very important partnership in Colombo. It's really important in today's day and age that students do get that global outlook. And we hope that our Curtin students take opportunities to transfer and try other international experiences. I mean, you don't have to, but having the option there for students is very important. And we do find a lot of students from SLIIT do come and spend some time in Perth, and they do very well here, as they do in Sri Lanka. Curtin is now ranked in the top 1% of universities in the world, and we recently, in the latest QS World Rankings, broke into the top 200 in the world for the first time. So we're very proud of that fact, and that's testament to the excellent research that Curtin is doing. And having excellent research translates into fantastic teaching programs. One of the big foci of Curtin is to make sure that what we're doing in research transfers across into our teaching. And today you'll be hearing from two of our esteemed academic staff, Professor Tilak Chandralika and Professor Hannes Herman, who will speak to you about engineering and computing. So I guess that's the main points I wanted to cover today. We'll be having a question and answer session at the end of the presentations. So we'll be very happy to answer any questions that you might have. So once again, thank you.
Thank you, Nigel. So now I would like to invite Dr. Hannes Herman, Director, Learning and Teaching at Curtin School of Electrical Engineering, Computing and Mathematical Sciences, to speak about the Curtin University computing programs offered in Sri Lanka. Good morning, Dr. Hannes. Over to you.
Thank you. Let me just share the screen. Okay, hopefully you're seeing the correct screen now.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for inviting me to speak today. It is my pleasure to once again speak to people in Sri Lanka. I'm still sad that I haven't had the chance to visit yet, and given the current situation, that may take a while, but I very much look forward to being able to do that. As Nigel mentioned, though, we've had a wonderful collaboration with Sri Lanka for quite a long time. The SLIIT campus has some amazing staff, and we've got some really good students out of it as well. Let me talk to you a little bit about computing. First, about myself. I'm from ECMS, the School of Electrical Engineering, Computing and Mathematical Sciences, in the Faculty of Science Engineering. I'm one of the two directors L&T for the school. I'm also the course coordinator for computing, which is the hat I'm wearing today. So I'm very happy to talk to you about the computing courses. I am also able to answer some questions about the computer systems and networking course. That isn't something that I directly look after, but friends of mine do, and I have been involved with it for a little while. I'll concentrate, though, on the computing programs, because that's where I'm an expert, basically. Before I go into the details, though, let me tell you a bit more about Curtin in general and one of our approaches, the main driver behind things. We at Curtin pride ourselves on our industry linkages. We have people from industry help us in many different ways. We get feedback directly from the people who are hiring our graduates. We get people who have graduated, gone back out into industry to come back and talk to us. We have industry experts give lectures. In fact, we'll have one of my friends who's a leading industry person in computing be giving a talk to Sri Lanka and other campuses through one of our units early in the next semester. This really makes what we teach very founded in the real world. There's sometimes a perception that universities may not focus on quite the right things. And, you know, we academics, maybe we don't always have that idea, but because we talk to industry so much, I believe Curtin gets this absolutely right. And the people I talk to tend to agree with me. Let's talk more about computing. One of the special things about computing, one of the things that students who transfer from other universities comment to me about is about the, well, one of the quotes was, you know, I like actually just being able to talk to the staff member. So we have a lot of staff who care deeply about student education, sometimes too deeply in various ways, because, you know, we perhaps put a bit much time into it at times. More importantly, though, we also have students who are helping each other. And that is a really great thing to have. One of the things you will be building up at SLIIT, now that you're offering the course from first year, is that vibrant student community. And that's really needed as part of a degree, especially a difficult degree like computing. Computing at Curtin is known in Perth, in Australia and around the world. We have one of our largest employers in Australia, Atlassian, come and send a team over every year to try to recruit our students. We've had students go to Facebook, to Google, to Microsoft, whatever. And as I mentioned, what we teach is very much up to date based on industry feedback. The computing, I'm going to talk mainly about the undergraduate one. It's a good degree. Obviously I'm biased, but hey, there are a range of options in Sri Lanka at the moment. We're only giving you some of those, but like Nigel said, you can move between campuses. And if you're studying, for example, the Bachelor of IT, there's nothing stopping you from doing a semester fairly much anywhere else where we offer a Bachelor of IT, which could be in Perth, it could be in Malaysia. I myself spent 7 years in Malaysia. It's a lovely place. So that sort of global mobility is really, really useful, because having experience of other cultures is one of the great ways to do better once you go into the workplace afterwards. And of course, hopefully you'll have other people coming to visit your campus as well, once the whole pipeline is established. So there's a lot of things to represent it, but one of the best things you can do really is talk to the students, because they'll know. Let me actually talk about the things that you probably want me to talk about. So far, it's been a bit of an advertisement. I'll give you some numbers later, but for now, let's talk the details. We have a lot of different undergraduate courses, single degrees, double degrees. One of the degrees that's being very successful in Perth at the moment is a double degree between mechatronic engineering and computing. But the computing courses, which are now called the Bachelor of Computing and Bachelor of Information Technology, are very, very popular and they're highly respected. Today, I'm going to be talking about the Bachelor of Information Technology, which is offered in Sri Lanka, and the Bachelor of Computing, specifically the software engineering major, which is also offered in Sri Lanka. Next year, I believe, another major will also be offered in Sri Lanka. I won't really talk about that now, because I'm really talking to people who might be coming in for the second semester. But who knows, I'll probably be back talking about the other major sometime before next year starts. So let's talk about the Bachelor of IT. What we have here is a 3-year degree. It's a 3-year bachelor's degree. You can do a 4th year in honours if you so desire. And we have a nice year, which is a fairly general year, just to introduce you to the idea of programming. And I must stress that programming as we teach it is very different from programming as you might pick up yourself or might be taught by, say, an engineering area or commerce area, because we teach programming with a focus on very easily testable and maintainable software and approaches that allow you to work in large-scale programming teams. If you're going to be working in the back room of some shop throwing code together yourself, that's perfectly fine. But if you want to work in a large company as part of an active international team, you have to know how to do things right and how to do things in the way that industry expects. So please don't be frustrated if what we're saying doesn't necessarily make sense right from the first day, but by the time you graduate the degree, you'll be saying, oh, I know now why they taught me that in first year, because that allows me to do something right in 3rd year, and you carry that across into industry. So we are going to be very particular about not just what you do, but also how you do it, because that's a big selling point for our students, and that's really going to help you get a job once you graduate. The 2nd year starts to get more specific, and this is the same with all of our computing courses. We have still some common units, database systems, operating systems, computer communications. They are in general, but now you have more networks and operating system specific unit, bit of security, because that's what the Bachelor of IT is all about. It's really about the software side of networks and the basics of security, with a bit of flexibility like engineering management thrown in. The idea is that this gives you a lot of flexibility in a degree. you still learn the basics of how to be a decent programmer, but you also have a lot of different tools to pull out of your tool set. You'll notice that there's a few different colors, that's prerequisites and the like. One of the things I would like to point out are the capstone projects in the final year. That's where you work on a real project using real methodology and real tools, and that will really get you ready for industry. I've had companies tell me in Perth that they don't hire people who haven't come through those projects because they prepare people for industry so well. So what is the focus of the Bachelor of IT? You learn how to be a programmer. You learn how to be quite a decent programmer, but not as good a programmer as in some of our other courses. You learn Python and C, which are both highly desired courses. Python especially is very good for getting tasks done very quickly. So if you are going to be going into a startup, or if you're going to be working for a small firm, or if you want flexibility, that's a good choice for you. But you don't go and do the really advanced programming things, because we then start looking at other things like network and distributed programming. If you're interested in going into cloud programming, into securing servers, all the sort of things that you may have to do if you're part of a startup or if you're part of a small to medium enterprise, these are the sort of things that will be very useful. We focus on Unix a lot. I remember one of my students from Malaysia who graduated and within a year was running a team for one of the Malaysian banks, which with a budget of well over $1 million, just because we forced her to use Unix. And all the people who also hired by that bank, they only knew Windows. They needed Unix for a particular thing. Those skills got her up, and she did really, really well from there. Her team wrote the software for that bank's ATMs internationally, basically. And she never would give me a backdoor for it, but it can't be helped. So IT is a very flexible degree. It's not for the people who want to be really serious full-time programmers, but it's for people who want to be more flexible in their approach. The second one I want to talk to you about is the Bachelor of Computing Software Engineering. The first year looks fairly similar, apart from one minor unit here, which is the specialist unit for the degree, Computer Requirements Engineering. But we now also have object-oriented program design instead of the previous unit, Foundations of Programming. The difference is in IT, we teach you Python. In this degree and other Bachelor of Computing degrees, we teach you Java. Java is the #1 sought after language in the world for seek ads and all sorts of other metrics, but it's also very complex and finicky. So learning how to program using Java, there's a lot of good points to it, but it does make it more difficult. So right away, this degree is a little bit more difficult than the Bachelor of IT. We go on to the second year, you can see some of those units are just the same as before, but there's also quite a lot of other units. We still have distributed
Dr. Hannes, I think hello.
Oh, very nice. A quick summary then. The Bachelor of Computing Software Engineering is an advanced programming degree in both Java and C, so rather than Python and C, although we will give you the opportunity to learn Python as well if you so desire. It focuses on design patterns, object orientation, requirements engineering, and all the sort of things you will need to work in a place like, say, Microsoft in a large team. It does cover data security, software security, because you need to have some basics in those areas, or frankly, no one will risk employing you. But that's not the main focus. The main focus is to be a programmer. So if you want to put really good industry level code together, this is a good degree for you. So I talked it up a fair bit. I've said, look, we're great. And honestly, that's my opinion. I don't have to say I'm great, I'm not, but the degrees that we've put together are really useful. What I do want to do is tell you what our students say about it. Obviously, you'll be able to meet some students when you come on campus, and I encourage you to do so. When we have an open day in Perth, I try to have some students nearby so I can direct inquiries to those students, and they'll do that separately where I can't hear so they can give an honest opinion. What I also like to do, though, is ask our students how they're going. So one of the things I did back in 2019 is run a survey of computing students that were graduating. Now, I didn't do this last year for perhaps obvious reasons, and I've been a bit too busy this year. So this is the most recent data I've got, but it's not too bad. Essentially, what I did is the students doing capstone computing, in May of that year, these students would be expecting to graduate at the end of the year. So December, they'd be looking for jobs starting around December to February next year. Of the students who replied to the survey, who answered the survey, about 92% of them already had signed on the dotted line for a job. Some of the others who didn't were saying either they weren't looking for a job at this point because they were still looking at the options, or I know one student was telling me that they actually had multiple offers and hadn't actually decided yet. So that 91 point whatever percent isn't even all of the students who had good outcomes. I should point out that 40-something% of these students were offshore students, and in that year, all of those students who answered from offshore were from the Sri Lankan campus. So these numbers absolutely apply to you in Sri Lanka. So when I say we have good outcomes, I think that backs it up relatively well. Obviously, the world environment changes, but in general, our students get good jobs. We teach them how to program well. Some comments from the students, which I liked. I learned a vast knowledge from studying at Curtin University. I don't know, I like that for some reason. And the second one, talking about the preparation for the real world. You have to have a balance between the theory so you can keep updating yourself and keep learning, and the actual hands-on, I'm ready to work preparation. I think we do that really well, and our students tend to agree with me. So thank you very much for listening to me. I'll be happy to take questions later during question time.
Thank you, Dr. Hannes. So I now welcome Professor Tilak Chandra Tilaka, Professor, School of Civil and Mechanical Engineering of Curtin University, to speak about the Curtin University engineering programs offered in Sri Lanka. Good morning, Professor Tilak. Over to you. I think your mic is muted. Professor Tilak, I think you have to unmute your mic. Professor Tilak, we can't hear you because your mic is muted. All right, there you go.
All right.
Probably you can share the screen. Yes. We can't see the presentation.
Should be coming up now. Can you see that now?
No, sir. I think you are actually sharing the other screen.
Okay. Can you see that now?
Yes, we can see it now. Yes.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, good morning, everyone. I'm Tilak Chandra Tilaka. I have held quite a few different types of roles at Curtin University, especially the head of mechanical engineering for many, many years. So I thank SLIIT for giving me this opportunity to talk about mechanical engineering and other engineering areas as well. But I will focus mostly on how you get into engineering, and then what are the options available in terms of learning at Curtin University. So before I go into that, I just wanted to talk to you about what engineering is all about. Now, we all know that technology is an important thing. Now, for instance, this particular transmission the Zoom transmission is a technological based, and you can see the requirement of engineering in this particular platform as well. So generally we enjoy technology. We listen to music, we watch television, and also we drive cars, we take aircraft to different countries and so on. So they are all part of the technology development. So generally engineers actually develop methodologies and solutions to meet technological requirements in the society. So that's what engineers do. Now there are many different areas in engineering, and as I summarized here in a different way, you have the thermal power generation type of situations. So you have the cars, electric cars, the normal petrol or diesel based vehicles, the bridges, high-rise buildings, aviation industry. They're all based on some kind of engineering technology. So that is how much we are dependent on technology in general at the moment. Wherever we look at, we see the engineering requirements. When you're sick, you go to a doctor, and the way you go to the doctor is all part of the engineering process. You take the car or bus, and then you take medicine. The medicine is made through some kind of engineering principles as well. So the engineering is in a very technical way. The engineering is an art form, utilizing the resources like materials, money, or knowledge to design and manufacture products or machines which will serve a purpose or fulfill particular need in people. Now, as an example, at the moment, we have this COVID situation in the world, and you've got to transport vaccines, minus 40-degree temperature required in this kind of thing. And again, you have to design certain special technology to transport the vaccines over long distances, over a long period of time, and keep it in storage. And this kind of challenges are met by some engineering principles, heat transfer or some other thermodynamic principles. So that is how much engineering is embedded into our society at the moment. And as a result, we, as engineering professionals, we all have a social responsibility to apply the skills and the knowledge to overcome challenges and engaging in problem solving. As engineers, we always try to solve problems. The problems will never end. The society keeps inventing new problems, and we got to come up with solutions to solve them. So you can see it's a continuous battle for engineering in that sense. And because of that reason, the engineering education embraces much deeper meaning and importance than just a normal degree. And engineering is not just a degree course, it's actually a much deeper importance built into that. Now, I would say that it's a training for lifelong practice as a principle, in terms of principle in doing engineering work, and also as a technological advancement in the society for the future. So we have a very, very big responsibility in maintaining this kind of a trend required in the society. And that is why the engineering education is such an important element in university programs. Now, just to give you a picture of different things happening in engineering, I can't talk about everything. And there are certain aspects. You can join as a field engineer, you can join as a maintenance engineer, for instance, or a design engineer, or programmer, or salesperson, a management who will decide on the future of a certain institution or company. And also you can be a negotiator who deals with subcontractors or large project undertakings. And also you can be a politician who decide a future of a country in terms of technological advancement. So you can see there are different elements of engineering going into all these different areas. This is by no means is the exhaustive list of things the engineers can do or get involved. Engineers can be even a lawyer as well. So in terms of developing a curriculum to match all these requirements, we had to look at the broad-based requirements in engineering. So our courses are generally very much broad-based, meaning that over 4 years, we try and develop very sound understanding in concepts and also deeper knowledge in fundamentals. Now, that is the main very important aspect in our principles in designing a curriculum, or philosophy in designing curriculum. And also we try and develop people who can think and do the problem solving and develop application skills. Now, they are the important things. It's not just doing a tutorial problem or doing a problem which is known to you. It's to look at something beyond that. So you need to have a much deeper understanding of fundamentals, concepts, and also thinking ability. And we call that the independent learning skills. So we don't try and train people who are expecting spoon feeding or a more recipe kind of a learning process. And in the middle of this, we also have the communication skills requirement. If you don't communicate well, obviously your knowledge is not visible to others. So you need to have a very good communication skills in developing or the designing, whatever the principles involved in engineering. And doing all that, we still have to comply with certain requirements. Now, Engineers Australia will define certain stage 1 competencies. That means they actually look at certain selection of skills required in an engineering graduate. Now, we don't develop these skills in one unit or a couple of units or a couple of years. You do it over all 4 years. So it's like having buckets of different competencies, and we try and fill these buckets one by one over the course of 4 years in different units. So each unit will have its own specific competency requirement or a spectrum of competencies, and we gradually fill those buckets little by little by going through the program. So that is the way the program is designed. And eventually, our aim is to produce very skilled engineers. Not only being skilled, they are flexible in undertaking different jobs. That means they can switch from one job to another job, different areas, and have a different focus in doing the work. So this is the kind of a flexibility we try and build into our programs in developing the curriculum. And also we always try and encourage people to have more common sense, not the normal common sense, what you call the engineering common sense and the awareness. They have to think about the impact on the environment. They have to think about the impact on other surrounding mechanisms. As an example, you can have you can design a building which will take into account the energy conservation principles and how much you can capture the solar energy from that in that building, something like a green star rating kind of a thing. So all these little engineering common sense and awareness is also built into our programs. It's not just a matter of learning theory and how to do the problems and develop communication skills. We encourage the students to learn a much more wider kind of awareness in terms of applying their knowledge into different engineering discipline areas as well. Now, having said that, the programs can only provide the learning environment, but you have to have other ingredients to be able to learn from that program environment. Now, one has to have a motivation, dedication, curiosity, learning, and all the other standard things that will make one interested in learning altogether. Now, that is something that we cannot inculcate just like that. We have to have that personal interest in learning through the program as well. So that is the very essential thing. Having been an academic for long years now, and I feel this is probably one of the most important aspects in learning process, as much as the curriculum. So I would encourage anyone to have an interest in doing engineering before they come to do engineering. And then you have to select what sort of engineering you'd like to get into, whether it's a mechanical or civil or electrical, electronics or computing. You've got to decide your inclination, your interest in doing that particular area. So let me go to the next slide now. Now at Curtin and SLIIT combined programs, we have 4 majors. Essentially, we call them programs here, but they're called majors as well. And it's a 4-year bachelor's degree program with honors. So the honors is built into our program. And then we have the civil and construction engineering program. That's one of the flagship programs we have. Electrical and electronic engineering, another flagship program. And mechanical, of course, that's my field, my area. And again, it's a very well-established program in Western Australia. And we are well known for producing mechanical graduates as well. And the mechatronic engineering, that's a fairly recent program, but again, rapidly developing kind of a program at the moment. So we have these four programs currently being offered at SLIIT through the Curtin franchise arrangement. And all these programs are fully accredited by Engineers Australia and recognized under Washington Accord. Now that's the endorsement we have for our graduates. They can work in many countries in the world. Now here I have a list of certain countries which will recognize this degree. And if you look at the past graduates, they are spread all over the world. We have people working our graduates working in England, India, various other countries, and some of the countries are listed here, and mostly in Western Australia as well, and the eastern states, and so on. So they're very well accepted all over the world as graduates of very high quality. And of course, that quality depends on how well you perform and how well you are interested in doing the program. It's not just a matter of getting 50 degrees and getting 50% of the marks and getting through the degree. You've got to have the interest in doing the program and getting through the programming that's in the highest possible manner. Now, to achieve all this, we have good facilities. We have up-to-date facilities and also we have the hands-on lab experiments and the projects, sometimes individually supervised, sometimes group supervised. And then we have industry links, work experience requirements, and also all kinds of site visits we implement, not in every unit, but in certain units. And as I said, we are trying to fulfill those competency requirements spread over many different units over the 4-year program. And one of the recent things we have introduced is called the flipped classroom. That is for discussion purposes. We have a classroom, which is like a group discussion area where students can actually negotiate solutions by discussing with peers or with the lecturer and come up with a solution. So that's a kind of a new arrangement in lecturing in our areas. At SLIIT, there are brand new facilities available exclusive for Curtin students. Now that's a very encouraging thing. I haven't seen these facilities as yet, but I have been to the previous campus in Malawi, and they're all very well established equipment and laboratories available for teaching purposes as well. Now, just to talk about the engineering degree program structure, which is common to all engineering disciplines. And we have 4-year program, as I said earlier, and each year will have 200 credit points, as shown here, year 1, 2, 3, and 4. But year 1 is actually common. It's called the ECFY, Engineering Common Foundation, Common First Year. And in that, we do certain units, which are sort of elementary units, introducing different discipline areas or giving exposure to certain areas in subsequent engineering programs. Now, at the end of that program, you've got to select a particular major. That means you can switch to mechanical engineering or electrical engineering or civil engineering and so on, or mechatronics. And then in the second year, we offer units which will provide a core understanding in that particular discipline. So it's called the basic core discipline content. And in that, we look at certain units which will build up your background for that particular discipline as a very broad area, initially very fundamental. And then when you move to the third year, we have certain advancement in that particular field. So we try and introduce a bit more advanced units in the third year. And when you go to fourth year, we have even more advanced and slightly specialized discipline content to offer in the units. And in the final year, we also have a special research project, final year research project, which will have 50 credit points. And through that, we try and capture what our students have learned from year 1 to year 3 or year 4, and try and give something which will advance their knowledge and application skills, time management skills, project management through that kind of a research area. And it is a much more involved kind of a unit. It's mostly individually supervised project, and then that will allow students to demonstrate their ability to continue and work as a professional engineer when they graduate. Now, for graduation, we have to have some other qualification as well. We have to have 480 hours of industrial work experience, which the student can actually do over the 4 years. And so normally they take vacation as the time they do the industrial work experience. So the university will provide certain avenues to look for this kind of a opportunity. And we have to work with industry, and there's the logbook. And in the logbook, they enter the type of work they have done, and it has to be endorsed by the company. And then we check that and see whether it complies with the Engineers Australia requirements. And after doing that, then we provide the endorsement to graduate in the end. Now, at the moment, the Curtin SLIIT program runs in year 1, year 3, and year 4. Year 2 is not run at the moment, but from 2022 onwards, this full Curtin program will run at SLIIT. So that's the arrangement at the moment. Now, the EFI program, or Engineering Foundation Year program, is like this. We have the basic engineering science kind of units, three different units here, and also enabling units, which will be like calculus or algebra or programming kind of units. And also we will have the engineering foundations, the principles, design, and communication type of units as well. So that's the basic. Everybody has to do all these units. And then if you are done your maths, the physics and chemistry in your advanced level in Sri Lanka, they have to do what they call the enrichment units. There's a list of enrichment units from which you can select one unit and satisfy the 25 credit point requirement to complete the foundation year. But if you haven't done your physics and chemistry in your A-levels, then you can select one of the physics or chemistry units offered by SLIIT. Here, we offer our own physics and chemistry units in the university to achieve that requirement. Okay, so this is the unit structure in the foundation year. In the first year, in the first semester, we have the foundation and principles, design, and communication. So that is to give you a background to engineering requirements apply to engineering industry, and the linear algebra, statistics for engineers, engineering mechanics, physics, chemistry, or another option from one of those enrichment units as well. In semester 2, we have the materials unit, calculus, electrical systems, and programming. So this is the current mixture. At the moment in Bentley, in Perth, we offer these units in both semesters. That means you can do semester 1, this set of units or that set of units, and then we can switch the other way around if you like. But in SLIIT, I think such arrangement is being made as well. And I think that will be available at some point, I believe. And it's very long list of units if I go through all the other units in other years. So if you want details of other units in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th years for individual majors, then unfortunately, I can't show you now, but you can always go and have a look at it in the handbook. Now, as an entry requirement, you got to score 8 points or more in the GC advanced level in the following areas. All 3 subjects in math streams and physics and or chemistry, which will come under that category. And then you got to fulfill the English requirement as well. And there are different ways to measure the English competency. So you can, there's an overall score and given at the bottom here. And through that, you can identify whatever the suitable method of getting into the engineering program. And then if you need more information about any one of these things, you can always look at the engineering website at SLIIT or our handbook at Curtin University, or there's a section on future students on our website as well. So there you can look at different categories and see whether you belong to the school leaver category or non-school leaver category, international student, postgraduate, year 10, and so on, and see whether you can get the information required from there. And then having mentioned all that, I just had to mention the spectrum of courses we are running only at Perth, not at SLIIT at the moment. Now the blue ones, what's shown in blue are the ones running at SLIIT from Curtin University. But all the other areas will be having different units, different degree programs at Perth alone. The chemical engineering, industrial system and systems engineering, metallurgical engineering, mining, petroleum, and also we have a whole host of double degrees as well. Now, the double degrees will take 10 to 11 semesters. It's beyond the normal bachelor's program, and the bachelor's program takes only 8 semesters, 4 years, whereas the double degree will take a little bit longer than 4 years, sometimes 4.5 or 5 years, or 5.5, depending on the speed at which you complete those units taken from other areas. All right, I think this is, and also we have, of course, we have the research programs, the PhDs, masters, and taught master programs are available, but the taught master program is not currently available for the graduates coming through SLIIT or Curtin programs or any other Engineers Australia accredited program at the moment. It's meant for a different group of students. So I'd like to thank for listening to me, and also I can answer to any question you may have later on in that as well.
Thank you, Professor Tilak. Thank you so much. So now let us have a glimpse of our new campus in Colombo. All right, now we have here with us today Januda Seniviratna, who is one of our students studying in the first year, who will share his experience with us. Hi Januda, how are you?
Hi Ms. Chatri, I'm doing very well, and thank you for the opportunity, and I'm very honored to talk in front of our professors, staff, parents, and my dear brothers and sisters who will be joining with us soon. So.
Okay, just to start off with, can you just give us a small introduction about you?
Sure. So as you will all know, my name is Januda Seniviratna and I'm from Rohan College. And after I finished my studies, I joined Curtin University, the orientation in January 2021. And then I started my first year as a software engineering student in March. And now I'm working as a batch representative in my batch.
Okay, thanks, Zach. So can you tell us why you selected a foreign degree program and why Curtin?
Yeah. So my plan is to, after I complete my degree program in Sri Lanka, go to Australia and then come back to Sri Lanka with the knowledge that I have gained working there. So to fulfill my dream, I chose Curtin University because I can complete my degree program for 3 years inside Sri Lanka. But Dr. Hannes, as said by Dr. Hannes, you can go to abroad to complete your degree, or else you can complete the whole 3 years in Sri Lanka. So you have those two options too. And another option is you can complete the first year in Sri Lanka and go to another university. So switch between universities. And the next reason that is that Curtin is on the top 1% of universities in the whole world, and it is in the 194th position from the world top 200 of universities. So that was a major reason that I chose Curtin. And also it is an international degree program that is provided by SLIIT. So SLIIT is well known for information technology and engineering degrees. So that was another reason that I chose Curtin.
So Janandra, the first thing you went through was the orientation program, am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So would you like to give us some insights about the orientation program?
Sure. Well, because of the pandemic season, the orientation was online, but it was really interactive. We didn't feel like it was really bored or something, and it was really great. So the things that we learned were the essential skills that you will be needing to go to the first year and when you're starting the degree program. So the sessions were conducted by you, Ms. Chatri, and it was really interesting. As examples, I would say we learned about the needed soft skills in the industry, like email ethic, leadership skills that you will be needing. And also we had the sessions from experienced alumni and the professionals in the computing field and in the engineering field as well. So they were insightful, and we got to learn a lot about those. And we had several sessions on debating, and we did an online debating session, and there were some amazing projects that we did. And it was really was a big impact for the first year that we are in now. And all thanks for you, Ms. Chatri, and for everyone who conducted the orientation session.
Thanks, Al. And also nowadays, like I know due to the pandemic, everything is online. So how is your experience? How is that experience? Are the lectures going well?
Yeah, the main thing is that we are unable to contact lecturers physically. That's the problem because we cannot ask questions. But Curtin University have provided the best solution for that to clarify your problems regarding the course, regarding what you are studying. So we have facilities as workshop sessions, and we have unit coordinators to take care of our issues regarding our studies. And also another point that I have to mention, there's direct help from the main Perth campus. So Curtin International is helping us. I have to mention some facilities such as Piazza and international study groups, and also Blackboard. From Piazza, I will give you a small explanation. That's a platform that you will be able to clarify your own problems regarding your studies from your peers, from the same batchmates, and also the professors in your module. So that's an amazing chance for you to, amazing chance that the Curtin students will be getting. And also we get the advantage of getting taught from 2 lecturers per one module. One lecturer will be from the local program, and the other lecturer will be from the international program. So you can watch the recordings, you can interact with the local professor directly. So if you get the maximum resources, it will build up your productivity. So those are the main advantages.
Okay, so I know like you're a batch representative, so can you just tell us about the role that you play and what are the opportunities you get?
Okay. So the main thing that I got as a batch representative is the experience in management skills. You learn a lot while you are engaging. And also I had mentioned that we will be getting a valuable certificate from Curtin, Australia. It's an internationally recognized certificate, and it will be an extra qualification for your future occupation. So why would we not go to it? So I invite you to go try out these new opportunities that you'll be getting from Curtin, because they are really valuable. And you will be getting the opportunity to like communicate directly with the management if you are a better representative, and also with the lecturers. And also there will be exciting events, and you get the chance to organize them with your fellow batch representatives. So that is really interesting. That is a really interesting like experience that I'm having right now, and you will be getting that too.
Yeah, so why don't you tell about the activities you have done so far?
Yeah, so I had mentioned especially about that from the orientation. We had this debating competition, which was organized by you, Ms. Chatri, and it had been really amazing. We had a lot of fun, and also we were educated on our speaking skills, which was really important. When you're going to the industry, you have to have the communication skills that you will be needing. And after that, we made our own business venture, and we learned a lot about making our own product and selling it. So it was really insightful. And also, as a batch representative, I got the chance to organize several events in Curtin University. So they were religious activities and lantern display for Vesak. And there are more events yet to come. Tomorrow, for Poson, we'll be having another session from Curtin. And yeah, it will be really interesting.
Right. So finally, what would you like to tell the students who are planning to join the program?
Yeah. So finally, what I have to say is everything that you will be doing in your life, in your university life, depends on how hard you will be working on. So the Curtin University is the place for the students who will be going for the workforce tomorrow. It could be today, tomorrow, or even after 3 years that you will be completing your degree. So of course, the university life is really wonderful until you do your work on time and plan ahead. So you have to do your work and give your best into your studies and move ahead. And you should have the strong determination that you will take a strong start and pass with not just a degree, but first class pass, higher than a 3.5 grade point average. So make sure you are a step ahead and help others along your way. And also take part in extracurricular activities, because they are important to make you an all-rounder, because Curtin is all about that. And in the end, when you graduate, the day will be, you will reflect on what you have gained and make sure you have no regrets at the end. So I invite all of you to join our team and make your university life a great fun. Thank you so much. And it has been a great opportunity for talk in front of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Jananda, and sharing your experience with us. I wish you all the very best. Okay, so next we have Ms. Amanda Kaludura, a Business Development Executive from Hatton National Bank, to inform you about the student loans which are available for the students who join our program. Good morning, Amanda. Amanda?
Hi, good morning, Chatri.
Hi, good morning.
Hi.
To you. We can, actually your mic got muted again. Amanda, I think. If you can unmute your mic. There you go. That's fine.
Right. Thank you, Chatri. Can you see the screen?
Yes, we can. If you can put it like in full screen. Yeah, fine. We can see it. Thanks.
Right. Okay. So good morning. Thank you so much, Shartri and the team, for giving us this opportunity. So we are very excited to be partnered up with SLIIT and provide the financial assistance for any students who might face financial bottlenecks throughout their higher education journey with SLIIT. So let's get started. So we have actually introduced a new education loan scheme, an exclusive education loan for the students of SLIIT. So we have actually recently revamped our education loan scheme with many more attractive benefits and much less rates. So I'll just walk you through it. So we have two categories of education loans. So the students of SLIIT falls under the category 1. So we fund 90% of your course fee. Just to give you a brief explanation as to how our education loan works, we fund 90% of your course fee. So the 10% of your course will be the equity contribution from your end. And the beauty of this package is this product is that you can pay only the interest during your study period. So if I take an example, if your, let's say your degree program is 4 years, so we give you 4 years where you can only pay the interest and an additional 6 months until you find an employment. So you get a total of 4.5 years where you only have to pay the interest, and that grace period can go up to the maximum period of 4.5 years. So once you find an employment, once you start working, you can of course start paying off both the capital and the remaining and the capital and the interest of the loan. So the maximum repayment period of our education loan goes up to 10 years with the grace period. If you decide to go with the grace period, then of course the maximum repayment period is 10 years. And if it's not, you have the option of paying off the education loan with equal monthly installments as well. So that of course can go up to 7 years, that is without the grace period. So since I'm aware that most of the students are full-time students, and because of that, we have given the option to the student to join with a parent or a family member or a guardian to jointly apply for the loan. So in that case, the student will be considered as the main applicant, whereas the co-borrower will be the parent, a family member, a sibling, or any other family member, or the guardian. So the minimum loan amount we are providing is 100,000, and the maximum loan amount can go up to 3 million without any security. So we don't ask for guarantors or any property mortgages. You can go up to 3 million without any security. So the minimum, the salary requirements will be considered of the co-borrowers. So either your parents or your family members' income will be considered as the salary requirement for the loan. And once you submit the relevant documentation of the co-borrower, we can start processing the loan. So the interest rate, of course, will be fixed during the grace period, whereas the interest rate after the grace period will be floating rate, which is not fixed at the moment. So moving on to the second category, this is if you're planning to start any professional courses, you can also apply for that loan facility as well. Moving on, these are the documents that we require from you to apply for the education loan facility. So if I briefly explain as to what the process we have here is that we have two representatives, Bevan and Ishara from HNB, to take care of you, to personally look into your request. So if you call us, we will tell you what are the documents that is required, or we will tell you whether you are eligible to get the loan, or if there are any issues, we can, give you solutions as to how best we could facilitate you. So once you call us, we will advise you as to what the next step is. And if you get a co-borrower ready and if you get the documents ready, you can call us again, and we can even come to the extent where we can come to you and collect the documents, or you can visit the nearest HNB branch and submit your documents. So these are the documents that is required. The duly filled application, you can get it from any HNB branch. We can even email it to you. The copy of the NIC of yours, as in the students and the co-borrowers, and the offer letter from the university, which you will be getting from SLIIT. And talking about the two customer segments that comes here, first one is the salaried customers. So the salaried customers has to submit 3 recent salary slips along with the employer confirmation letter. And if the co-borrower is a business customer, you have to submit the copy of your BR, 6 recent bank statements, any bank statements, and clear proof of income. Moving on to the next slide. In this slide, we have explained the value additions of our education loan. So you can also get a loan for your laptop that is jointly with your education loan. And you will be getting a mandatory HNB youth account, which I will be talking in the future, in the next slides. And you can even apply for a credit card, even for your parents. You can even get a supplementary card for yourself. And many discounts and offers are available from different universities, and from SLIIT also we can work on a discount and support you throughout the journey. So these are the loan repayment options explained. This is a calculation, sample calculation we have done for 100,000. So here we have mentioned the grace period up to 5 years, but it goes till for 7 years. So this of course will be, it will depend on the course fee that you the loan amount that you will be requesting from us. This is again the sample calculation for the loan with the grace period. And we are very excited to announce the new benefits that we will be providing with HNB credit cards. So for SLIIT, for you, if you want to pay your course fees or whatever education related payments, if you have HNB credit card, you can pay off your the course fees or the library fees using the HNB credit card with 0% installments. When I say 0% installments, you can go up to 12 months without any additional charges, without any hidden charges, and you can pay off your education related payments. So this offer is valid till 31st December this year. So you can go up to 12 months, including 3, 6, and 12 months. The maximum period is 12 months, where you don't have to pay any handling fee or any interest, just the transaction amount. So if you have HNB credit card, please utilize it at SLIIT, or if you want to apply for a HNB credit card, please contact us so that we could support you with this regard. So this is the HNB youth account. So this is an account we have introduced for the youth between the age of 18 to 30. So the minimum initial deposit you have to deposit when opening an account is just 2,000 rupees. So these are the special benefits that you will be getting if you are a youth account holder. We have many other benefits coming in as well. So if you want to open a youth account, if you want to apply for education loan, you will be anyways getting a HNB youth account open from us. But if you want to open a youth account and enjoy these benefits, please visit your nearest HNB branch or contact us. We will help you with that. So that's it. Thank you so much. I would like to thank Chatri and the SLIIT team for giving us this opportunity. We are very excited to work with you, and wish you all the very best with your studies. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Amanda. Sorry you had to rush it. So anyway, now we open the session for question and answers. You may unmute your mic and ask questions, or please use the chat box. So, wait. I think we have a question. If the students transfer to some other country after 2 years, how do they get the training? So they're asking Professor Tilak for engineering, if the students transfer after 2 years, how they will get their industrial training? Will you be assisting them over there?
Yep. Now, the thing is, when you say transfer, it's to follow another course, say from SLIIT to Perth, for instance.
Yeah, the same. If say that if they're doing like mechanical engineering in Sri Lanka and then they transfer to mechanical engineering at Curtin.
Yeah, I think, well, in this kind of situation, it's good to have a record of what the person has done or the student has done before in terms of industrial experience. And then you can present that as evidence of your previous work. And then you have to start with a new set of work for the remaining time here.
Yeah, actually the question, they are just asking if they come there, will like the university assist them in finding?
Well, university assists in some ways by providing a list of potential employers for that kind of a thing. And then it's up to the individual students to approach, depending on their liking, the different companies and see whether there's opportunity. Normally they have a portal. The companies have a portal of industrial training experience opportunity. So you can actually apply through that particular portal and then take that. A lot of companies here do take students. They know about it. And the university provides insurance for students to go and work outside. But the payment for the students is determined by the company itself. Some companies will pay, some companies will not pay. But the insurance is covered by the university. So,
Right.
so there's no problem in transferring from, say, Sri Lanka to here and continue with that transmission. And there are certain students here. I already have about 5 students working with me from SLIIT previously, and they have their work experience requirements. And individual lecturers can help as well.
Yeah, I think even in Sri Lanka, we have the same, this question was asked actually, even for Sri Lanka, even if they're studying in Sri Lanka, whether they will get any like assistance in finding industrial opportunities. Yes, we will also assist them in, the lecturers will assist them in finding places, but you can find your own internship opportunity as well. But the lecturers and the others will actually definitely help you all. So another question was, will the second year be available for the 2021 year student at SLIIT? Yes, I mean, you can complete all 4 years at SLIIT. Like if you want only, you can transfer, otherwise you can complete all 4 years here. And again, sir, do we have the double degree option for SLIIT students? So let's say they complete the 4-year degree here, can they go to Perth and do the double degree there?
Well, the double degree is an enrollment right from the beginning. From second year onwards, they will have to join that program. So if that question hasn't risen up to this point,
right?
So we'll have to look at that. But the option is, of course, available. You can continue certain units. Say, if someone joins in the 3rd year, for instance, now from 3rd year onwards, you can do the other part of the double degree, say with accountancy, for instance, or management. And the thing is now, let me get back to the double degree arrangement. Now in double degrees, we don't do all the units in our program, for instance. Okay, so there are certain units we exempt because those material covered in those units in our program is covered by some other program. As an example, the accountancy program and the management programs will have management kind of aspects covered. But in engineering, we also have engineering management. So we don't allow the students to do the engineering management in our program if they're doing double degree. So they can actually do the equivalent units from another program. So that's the way you can save time.
Right. So probably we'll have to look into that and let them know, sir, like whether they can move after the first year, at least, like since first year is general. So whether they can, yeah. Yes, we will let them know then. And another question is, are there any minor courses or programs about blockchain technology offered by Curtin?
I think Hannes should
I
answer that
might,
one.
yes, I might take that one. Look, that has been proposed before, but really, I guess the question is, what do you want to do with blockchain? A lot of the applications of blockchain are very area specific. So you might find blockchain used in commerce, in pretty much any field. And that basically means you'd apply what, you know, probably have technical people apply the blockchain to that field in effect. If you're talking about coding blockchain, then there isn't enough for a course there. There really isn't. There's a bit to do with encryption. There's a bit to do with handling networks. There's a bit to do with some of the mathematics behind it. You could probably get a fair chunk of that by doing a Bachelor of IT, and you'd get a lot of other very useful skills. Most people these days would probably just take a library that already encodes blockchain and use that, and then you wouldn't need a course for it, basically.
Okay, and there was another question, Dr. Hannes. If they want to do the honors degree, like after the computing, the 3-year degree, if they want to do the honors degree, can they like come to Perth and do it?
Yes, absolutely. We don't currently offer the honours year at SLIIT, or if there's enough interest, I wouldn't mind having that discussion at some point. But certainly, the student would be free to apply to come to Perth, noting that there is a performance requirement to do that. This is, of course, for computing. For engineering, the honours degree is part of the degree. So yeah, for computing, the minimum requirement is an average or a course credit average of 75 if you want to be automatically accepted. But if you have a course credit average of 65 or higher, we'll consider you if we can find you a supervisor, which frankly normally is not that hard. So 65% CWA is a realistic expectation for honours in computing.
So I think if you're like completing the 3-year Curtin degree at SLIIT, you can actually join the SLIIT local program also, because they have the 4th year. You can join the final year for the SLIIT program, and you can get the honors degree. You can get like a double degree like that in Sri Lanka. That is also possible. So just an option for the students. Also, there's another question. Can a student complete the industrial training in Sri Lanka and complete their final year in Perth?
Yes, I'll take that question. Yes, certainly we can do that. In fact, some of our foreign students, international students, I should say, are doing, during their holidays, they do the industrial training in their own country. But it has to be endorsed by that company according to the requirements stipulated in our logbook. The logbook has certain elements of engineering work experience requirements. So if you fall into one of those categories, yes, we can do that. There's no problem at all.
And also there's another question. If you complete the degree in SLIIT for all 4 years without transfer, can we go into double degree option? Again, I think they're asking the same question. So probably we'll have to check on that.
Yeah, that arrangement, we haven't thought about it yet, because the SLIIT all 4 year program is option we have just implemented.
Yes.
So it's quite early to comment on that, but I can't see any difficulty in that unless some of the units are already covered, at SLIIT, which are not going to be part of the double degree program. So that question arises, whether you have actually already done the unit or not. You might even get an exemption from the units you have done to go into the double degree program later on. So those options, we'll have to think about it and make it part of the arrangement at some point. I think Nigel will note this particular requirement.
Yeah.
We'll have a discussion on that.
Yes, definitely. And then, wait, there's another question. Can an electrical engineering student complete 3 years in Sri Lanka and honors in Perth? Yes.
I can't see any reason. We already have
Yes, they
the
can.
last 7 years. We have been running 2 years at SLIIT and then 2 years at Curtin in Perth. So similar to that, I can't see any problem with that. We have Malaysian students coming from Malaysia following our program. And the last 2 years or last year, they will come to Perth and complete the degree. I can't see any problem with that.
Right. And also they're asking about the accreditations. So once they complete all 4 years at the SLIT, will they get the Engineers Australia accreditation?
Yes, definitely, yes. It's given. In fact, it's already accredited, SLIT program by Engineers Australia. And it's supposed to have gone through another exercise of re-accreditation this year, but it's been postponed until next year. So any program is already accredited. Engineers Australia is already given 1 year extension automatically. So it will be re-accredited or considered for re-accreditation next year as well. So it is definitely a case, yes.
Okay. And so I think those are the questions that they were asking about scholarships. Well, currently we are like scholarships depends on intake to intake. So we have still not decided on the scholarships for this intake. So we will let the students know as soon as they register about the scholarships. And how would one proceed to contact, oh, Miss Amanda, okay. How would one proceed to contact Miss Amanda to discuss the loans? Okay, I think Amanda, if you can put your contact, who are the contact details from HMB Bank or in the chat box that they should contact for loans, that would be great.
Sure, will do. Thanks.
The working visa for the students. Well, I think after 4 years for engineering students, they are eligible to apply for an 18-month working visa. So most of our students, once they graduate, they use this opportunity and they apply for this working visa and then go to Australia, do their masters and apply for their PR. So that's the usual process. Anything that you need to add there, Professor Villa?
I think Nigel should probably answer.
Nigel actually had to leave the session because of a meeting.
Yeah, oh, I say, okay. Well, with my limited knowledge, I would say that it's definitely possible. The students can apply. I know a lot of my students have come and applied to remain in Australia with a certain working visa. Now that is definitely supported. So SLIIT Curtin program, which we are running now, will have the same arrangement. I can't see any changes happening with that as well.
Yeah, and also, yeah. And then there's another question saying, can London A-level completed student apply for the July intake? Yes, you can apply with pending results. So that availability is there. But once you receive the results, if the results are not like enough, I think Professor Mahesh, would you like to elaborate on that?
Sorry, I didn't catch the question. Sorry.
The question was like, if they complete their London A-levels with pending results, whether they can join the July intake. I think, yes, they can join the July intake with pending results. So if you can just elaborate on that, like if they do not get the results, what will happen kind of thing.
It's the same thing that we applied last year. So if they do not satisfy the entry requirement, they can still continue with the semester and then exit from the program, complete the entry requirement and join the second semester in the following year. They can either do our foundation program and join in the following year. I think that covers the options.
Yes. Thank you, Professor Mahesh. Okay. I think those are the only questions we have. So this brings us to the end of the Curtin University Open Day, and I'm sure you're now able to make an informed decision about your higher education. So no doubt the most important decision in your life. The links and the contact details to register for our July intake are now available in the chat box. I take this opportunity to thank Mr. Nigel, Dr. Hannes, Professor Tilak of Curtin University and all the other staff members of Curtin University, Ms. Amanda from HMB Bank and the staff and students of SLIIT who made this open day a great success. Thank you so much. And I would like to leave you with a saying by Nelson Mandela, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. So have a wonderful day and stay safe, everyone. Bye.
Thank you very much indeed. Yes, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.